Punishment in kindergarten. Learning objectives. 1. To understand kindergarten life. 2. To learn to emphasize with peers. Kamla Das, 1934 to 2009, was a prominent Indian poet, memoirist, and short story writer. She was also known as a major Indian English poet and literature, and at the same time, a leading Malayalam author from Kerala, India. She has published a number of books of poems and an autobiography. In many of her poems, she recalls her experience from her childhood. In this poem, she remembers an incident which caused her not joy but pain. Today, the world is a little more my own. No need to remember the pain. A blue-frocked woman caused throwing words at me like pots and pans to drain the honey-colored day of peace. Why don't you join the others? What a peculiar child you are. On the lawn, in clusters, sat my schoolmates, sipping sugarcane. They turned and laughed. Children are funny things. They laugh in mirth at others' tears. I buried my face in the sun-warmed hedge and smelled the flowers and the pain. The words are muffled now, the laughing faces only a blur. The years have sped along, stopping briefly at beloved halts and moving sadly on. My mind has found an adult peace. No need to remember that picnic day when I lay hidden by a hedge watching the steel-white sun standing lonely in the sky. Kamla Das. Find meaning. To drain, to empty. Peculiar, odd, change. Lawn, garden. Mirth, amusement, merriment. Muffled, not loud or clear, vague. Exercise time. Answer the following questions. 1. Who is the poet of the poem Punishment in Kindergarten? Answer. Kamla Das is the poet of the poem Punishment in the Kindergarten. 2. What does the poem mean by the statement, "Today the world is a little more my own"? Answer. The statement, "Today the world is a little more my own," means that the poet is an adult with more confidence in her life. She is currently happy with her life. Painful incidences in childhood don't hurt anymore. 3. What is the day described as? Why? Answer. The day is described as honey-colored because the day was sweet and peaceful before the teacher scolded the child. 4. What made the friends laugh? Answer. The friends laughed in merriment at the child's tears when the schoolmates react to the teacher's angry words to the child. 5. In the later years, what do you think might have reminded the poet about the pain she had felt that day? Answer. The narrator, who is now an adult, is able to look back on the painful childhood incident with peace. Time and an adult's point of view have healed the hurt. 6. Has the poet's life been a happy one in general? How do we know? Answer. The poem Punishment in Kindergarten is a childhood hurt recollection of the poet is in the later years of her life. The poet was deeply hurt by the unkind words of a teacher. It is the incident when the poet was just a school student. She had gone on a school picnic with her teacher and schoolmates. While other kids were playing, the poet stood alone because she was still new in the school. On seeing her alone, the teacher, who had dressed blue-colored frock, threw harsh words at her. The harsh words deeply wound her heart. This was followed by one more thing that added more to her pain. The children laughed at looking at the tears of the poet. Now, being an adult, she has found peace. She does not want to remember that picnic day. Find their meaning. 1. To drain, run out of the fluid. 2. Lawn, space near the garden of the house. 3. Peculiar, absurd. 4. Mirth, amusement. 5. Muffled, not loud. Fill in the blanks with the correct words. 1. I fell down and hurt myself. 2. The principal himself gave the orders. 3. You yourself started the fight. 4. We enjoyed ourselves at the picnic. 5. They blamed themselves for the mistake. 6. She looks at herself in the looking glass. 7. Mother herself cooked this for me. 8. The boys found themselves in a bad situation. Match the following. Do it yourself. Tick the right options. 1. Who was the blue frog woman? 1. Pockers. 2. Family. 3. Kamla Das' teacher. Answer 3. Kamla Das' teacher. 2. What type of character is the child in the poem? 1. Funny character. 2. Sad character. 3. Disturbing character. Answer 2. Sad character. 3. The poet deals with the dash part of the childhood. 1. Laughing. 2. Punishing. 3. Growth. Answer 2. Punishing. Let's enjoy the poem. Metaphors. Do you remember reading about similes earlier? When we say that something is like something else, we use as a simile. When we make a comparison, we sometimes do not say that something is like another thing, but that it is that other thing. In our daily conversation, we use many comparisons of this kind. For example, we might say, my friend will never give in. He has an iron will. We use the word iron to describe the person's will, but we know that his will is not really made of iron. It is as hard as iron. We sometimes call a camel the ship of desert. We know that although a desert is not a sea, there are some similarities. Example, a desert is lonely and flat, and so is the sea. We therefore compare a camel to a ship on the sea. Comparisons of this kind are called metaphors. When we say that something is something else, we are using a metaphor. Here is an example of 1. The literal use of word, and 2. The metaphorical use of the same word. 1. The officer opened his room by turning the key in the lock. 2. The committee met for 4 hours trying to find the key to the problem.